Welcome back, everyone, to Chat Like a Native, your go-to deep dive for mastering the art of authentic English communication. So have you ever been in one of those really crucial English conversations, maybe a high-stakes client call, or a fast-paced team meeting, or maybe even just a casual chat with a new colleague, and suddenly you felt that knot in your stomach because you didn't quite catch something?
Oh, absolutely. That feeling is universal.
Right. Or perhaps you really needed to interject. You had a burning question, but you worried about sounding rude or, disrupting the flow. You are absolutely not alone. In fact, these moments, they're not just common, they're kind of universal in human communication.
Especially when navigating a second language, yeah.
Exactly. So today, we're equipping you with something indispensable, really, your very own conversation repair kit. And this isn't just about fixing mistakes. It's actually about transforming those moments, those potential breakdowns, into real opportunities.
Opportunities for deeper understanding, yeah.
Yeah. Deeper understanding, stronger relationships, and honestly, a significant boost in your confidence.
That's the goal.
So stick with us, because by the end of this deep dive, you'll not only know what to do when conversations hit a snag, but crucially, how to do it with the poise and professionalism of a truly native English speaker.
Precisely. Our mission today is, well, it's to move beyond simply getting by in English.
Yeah.
We really want to empower you with concrete, actionable strategies. Strategies to expertly navigate those inevitable forks in the road that, let's face it, every conversation presents.
Those forks in the road, I like that.
Yeah. And here's a crucial mindset shift, I think. These moments, they are never failures.
Okay.
Instead, think of them as valuable opportunities, chances to clarify, maybe to reconfirm, and just to ensure everyone involved is truly on the same page.
Right.
And when you skillfully perform these repairs, you're not just solving an immediate communication problem, you're actively building trust.
Building trust, okay.
Yeah, demonstrating your engagement and, frankly, solidifying your reputation as a thorough and effective communicator.
That's huge in a professional context.
It really is. It's about achieving better outcomes than if you had simply, muddled through. And honestly, that's a kind of superpower in any professional setting.
Absolutely. A superpower. I love it. Think of this deep dive then as your shortcut, not just to being grammatically correct in your English, but to sounding genuinely fluent, professional, and confident. Because at its heart, real communication isn't just about spitting out words, is it?
Not at all.
It's profoundly about being understood and knowing exactly how to get back on track when that understanding wavers.
Getting back on track smoothly.
Exactly. We're going to break down how to execute these repairs quickly with crystal clear language, always kindly, and importantly, in a way that truly closes the loop.
Closing loops,
So you can chat like a native even when the linguistic road gets a little bumpy.
Yeah.
So let's really dive into this term, conversation repair. What do we actually mean by that? Because it's far more comprehensive than just saying, can you repeat that?
Right. Oh, much more. While asking for repetition is definitely one valuable tool in the kit,
Sure, it's a basic one.
conversation repair is an entire toolkit. It's designed to actively ensure your message lands precisely as you intend it to. And, crucially, that you fully grasp what's being communicated to you.
Okay, so it's active, not passive.
Exactly. It's a proactive and engaged process. We're talking about, well, everything from requesting a simple repetition of a missed word to confirming intricate technical details, maybe summarizing complex discussions if someone's gone on for a bit.
Right, summarizing is key.
Knowing how to politely interrupt without causing offense, that's a big one.
Yeah, the interruption fear is real.
It is. And then smoothly guiding the conversation back to its main purpose after the repair is done.
Okay, so imagine you're on a video call and the audio glitches out for a second.
Happens all the time.
All the time. Do you just nod and pretend you heard everything? Or do you actually have a graceful way to pause, clarify what you missed, and then confidently pick up exactly where you left off?
That's the difference.
Yeah.
That's what we're building today. Having that graceful way.
That's the goal.
And it's truly transformative, I think, when you realize that shifting your mindset around these misunderstandings is probably the first most critical step.
Okay, the mindset shift. How so?
Well, instead of feeling that familiar pang of embarrassment, or that sense of personal failure when you don't catch something.
Which is easy to feel, especially in a second language.
Totally.
Yeah.
Instead, try to view it as a chance to strengthen communication, almost like an unexpected quality check built into the conversation.
Quality check. Interesting.
Yeah. Misunderstandings are not personal shortcomings. They're simply those forks in the road natural deviations that just require a deliberate choice of direction. So when you make a small, timely course correction, it keeps the conversation moving forward, but with greater precision. And vitally, it protects professional relationships.
How does it protect relationships?
Think about it. Actively seeking clarity shows you value accuracy, right?
Right.
And it shows you respect the other person's message enough to want to get it right. That builds immense trust.
Ah, okay. So it shows respect.
Exactly. And often, these repaired conversations, they actually lead to far better results than if you had just guessed or nodded along.
We've all done that nodding.
Oh, we've all done it. And let the potential problem fester into a much larger issue later on.
Right. Avoid the festering problem.
Avoid the festering. Good repair, in essence, it cultivates psychological safety in communication.
Psychological safety.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When people feel safe enough to say, sorry, I didn't quite catch that, or could you maybe clarify that point for me?
Mm-hmm.
They're less likely to make dangerous assumptions, less likely to make an error down the line, and ultimately they're far more productive.
So it's not just about sounding fluent.
Not at all. It's about engineering conversations where clarity is actively encouraged. It turns those potential breakdowns into moments of shared understanding that actually strengthen both the task at hand and the relationship between the speakers.
That's a really powerful reframing, viewing misunderstandings as, well, opportunities. But in your experience, what are the most common reasons these course corrections sometimes fail? You try to fix it, but it doesn't quite land.
That's a great question. And it brings us right to what I call the 4 essential pillars of effective conversation repair. If you want your course corrections to work pretty much every time, they need to be fast, clear, kind, and closed loop.
Okay, fast, clear, kind, closed loop. Let's break those down. What does fast mean here?
Fast means reacting early. As soon as you sense even a slight disconnect or confusion, don't wait.
Don't wait and hope it gets clearer later.
Exactly. Don't wait until a small misunderstanding snowballs into a larger, more complex problem that's harder to untangle. Think about correcting a typo 5 minutes after sending an important email versus 5 seconds.
Much easier after 5 seconds.
Right. The quicker you address it, the easier it is to fix. Don't fall into that trap of just nodding along, hoping you'll eventually get it through context. That often leads to deeper confusion.
Okay, so jump in quickly. Got it. What about clear?
Clear means your request for repair needs to be unambiguous. Use short, standard phrases that the other person immediately recognizes and understands.
So avoid complicated sentences.
Definitely. And avoid vague appeals like just a puzzled, huh, or what. I mean, those aren't very helpful, are they?
No, not really.
Instead, be direct and, well, universally understood. If you missed a specific number, ask for that number. Sorry, what was that number again? If you missed the last phrase, ask for that phrase. Could you repeat the last part?
Okay, precision.
Precision in your request is key to getting a precise answer back. Makes sense, right?
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, pillar 3, kind. This sounds important.
It is crucial. This pillar is all about protecting both your own face, your dignity, your reputation as a competent speaker, and just as importantly, the other person's face.
Protecting their face, too. How?
Well, communication is a shared thing, isn't it? A dance.
Yeah.
You want to maintain a cooperative atmosphere. So use softeners like, sorry to interrupt, or excuse me, or even just quick question.
Softeners.
And maintain a friendly, approachable tone. And try to frame your request in a way that doesn't imply the other person spoke unclearly or made a mistake.
Ah, so it's about you needing clarification, not them failing.
Precisely. I didn't quite catch that, rather than you weren't clear. A gentle tone goes a long, long way here.
Definitely. Okay, and the final pillar, closed loop. What does that involve?
This one is so often overlooked, but it's absolutely crucial. After you've made your repair, you've asked your question, you've received the clarification, don't just stop there. Always end by confirming that both parties are now truly aligned and understand each other. This is your final check, your way of saying, okay, great, we're definitely on the same page now.
So it prevents lingering doubt.
Exactly. It prevents any lingering assumptions and ensures true comprehension has been achieved. Without this step, you might fix one immediate problem, only to have another one pop up later because the loop wasn't fully closed.
That makes so much sense. I remember once in this cross-cultural meeting, someone just kept nodding and smiling. And I realize now they were probably just trying to be polite, but maybe not fully understanding. So that closed loop confirmation would have been vital there.
Absolutely vital in those situations.
These pillars really act like a communication compass then. React quickly, Be precise with your language, always be polite, and make sure you've truly landed on the same page before moving on.
You've got it. That's the framework.
Okay, so we're going to show everyone how each of these pillars plays out in practice throughout this deep dive.
And this brings us to a really important point, which is, why is this particularly valuable for intermediate English learners like many of you listening?
Right, because they've already got a good base.
Exactly. You've put in the work, you've got a solid grasp of grammar, your vocabulary is probably growing steadily, and you can generally express yourself and understand others in most day-to-day situations.
So what's the missing piece?
These repair skills are what truly bridge the gap. They bridge the gap between merely speaking English and actually mastering professional communication.
Okay, mastering it.
They transform you from someone who can just articulate words into someone who can skillfully navigate complex conversations, especially those real-time, high-pressure situations.
Like phone calls.
Phone calls are a perfect example. You lack all those visual cues, body language, facial expressions, or important meetings where the stakes are high and clarity is absolutely paramount for making decisions, assigning actions.
Yeah, misunderstandings there can be costly.
Hugely costly. Without these repair tools, you might find yourself guessing, making assumptions, or worse, letting critical information just slip through the cracks. And that can really undermine your professional credibility over time.
But with them.
With them, you become proactive, you become assertive in ensuring successful communication, which is, honestly, a key trait of native-like fluency and a clear marker of genuine professional competence.
Okay, so we've talked about why these repairs are so vital, the mindset shift needed. But when you're actually caught off guard, in the heat of a conversation, how do you execute a repair effectively without just freezing up?
The freeze response, yes.
It happens. That's where our simple but really powerful ACCC framework comes in. Think of it as your mental safety net.
Safety net, yeah.
It's your instant checklist, a memorizable flow to stop you from getting flustered when a misunderstanding occurs. It's so simple, you can run through it in literally seconds. It brings structure to those moments of confusion. It's really about creating a habit, like a quick mental flow chart that just kicks in automatically when you need it most.
Building on that perfectly, the very first A in our ACCC framework is acknowledge the other person.
Acknowledge? Okay.
Now, this isn't just about good manners, although, that's certainly part of it.
Politeness helps.
Politeness always helps. But acknowledgement serves several crucial functions. First, it buys you a moment, a brief, polite pause to sort of formulate your actual repair request.
Buys you thinking time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Second, it signals to the other person that you're about to speak, which helps prevent you from just talking over them abruptly.
Right. Signals your intent.
And third, maybe most importantly, it sets a cooperative tone for the repair itself. You're showing you're still engaged, you're still listening, even though you need a quick pause to clarify something.
Okay, so what does that sound like in practice?
Think of simple, universally understood phrases like, sorry to jump in, or one moment, please, or even just a quick one, say thanks.
Short and sweet.
Short and sweet. They create a small, polite space for your repair without sounding abrupt or rude, ensuring the conversation's flow is protected even as you momentarily pause it. It's subtle, but really effective for maintaining that rapport.
Okay, acknowledged. Got it. Then the next C is clarify the problem with a focused request. And this is where I think a lot of people get stuck, but you're saying it's simpler than we think.
Much simpler if you focus.
Right. So the critical part here is don't just blurt out a vague what or a bewildered,
Please don't.
That's not helpful. And like you said, in many professional settings, it can actually come across as quite rude or dismissive.
You really can.
Instead, you want to pinpoint exactly what tripped you up. Be specific, not vague.
Specificity is key.
Okay, so give me an example. If someone's rattling off a list of tasks.
Right. Instead of just, can you repeat that? Which forces them to repeat the entire list.
Yeah, that's inefficient.
Very. You could say, could you repeat the last action item you mentioned? Or even more specific, sorry, did you say finalize the report or file the report? See the difference.
Ah, yes. Much clearer. What about in a technical discussion?
Same principle. Instead of a vague, what are you talking about? And try something like, just to clarify, do you mean the core router or are we talking about the access switch?
Okay, zoning in on the exact point of confusion.
Exactly. This level of specificity shows you are actively listening, which is great, and it shows you know precisely where the breakdown occurred. That makes it much easier for the other person to help you efficiently.
And it makes you look engaged, not lost.
Precisely. It demonstrates your engagement and your commitment to understanding. It turns you into an active participant in clarifying, not just some passive receiver waiting to be spoon-fed.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Acknowledge, clarify. What's the third C?
So the third C is where the real power comes in, I think. It's confirm what you now understand.
Confirm. Okay, so this links back to that closed loop idea.
Exactly. This step is the closed loop principle in action. It's your double check, your safety net to prevent any lingering assumptions and to ensure both parties genuinely have the exact same information.
How do you do that effectively?
The best way is usually to rephrase or repeat back what you heard, ideally in your own words, if possible, or just by reiterating the key detail you just clarified.
Okay, like rephrasing a timeline.
Perfect example. You might say, so, just to be clear then, the outage started at 9:10 a.m. and not 9:00 a.m., right?
Got it. Or confirming a task.
Yeah. Okay, so my understanding is I need to send the updated figures to the marketing team by end of day today. Is that correct?
That's very clear.
It is. And this step is such a powerful active listening technique. It not only solidifies your understanding, but also gives the other person a chance to catch any misinterpretation you might have made. It prevents future miscommunications.
So it builds that shared reality.
Perfectly put. It builds a shared reality within the conversation, where both of you can confidently move forward knowing you have the same information and the same expectations.
Acknowledge, clarify, confirm. Okay, what's the final C?
The final C is the land the plane moment, as you called it earlier. It's continue or close.
Right. Don't just leave it hanging.
Exactly. After you've successfully clarified and confirmed, don't just hang there in an awkward silence. You need to smoothly transition back to the main conversation, or explicitly end the repair exchange with a clear next step.
How does that look?
Well, if you've just clarified a point in an ongoing discussion, you might simply say, got it, thank you for that, please go on, inviting them to pick up their thought.
Okay, handing it back.
Yeah. Or if the repair successfully resolved an action item or a piece of critical information, you could close with something more definitive like, great, I'll update the ticket with that information right now.
Stating your action.
Exactly. This maintains a professional and organized flow. It lets the other person know that you've fully processed the information, everything is settled, and you're ready to move forward. It neatly ties off the repair, preventing any lingering uncertainty about what happens next.
Which you said is a hallmark of effective communicator.
Absolutely. That clear closure is key.
Okay, ACCC. Acknowledge, clarify, confirm, continue, close. That feels like a really solid, practical framework.
It is, and it becomes second nature with a bit of practice. Now, this raises an important question, though. We focus so much, rightly, on what we say, the words themselves, but how we say them can completely change how our message is received, can't it?
Oh, absolutely. Tone is everything sometimes.
Tone makes or breaks meaning. The exact same words like, could you repeat that, can sound perfectly polite and collaborative, or they can sound really aggressive and demanding.
Yeah, depending entirely on what?
Intonation, speed.
Intonation, your speaking speed, your volume, all of it. And this is incredibly crucial to remember, especially when you're learning a new language.
Because the nuances are tricky.
The nuances of tone can be really tricky to master, yet they're audibly conveyed, even on the phone, where you can't see facial expressions or body language to help you interpret.
Right, the voice carries it all.
It does. Your tone communicates so much about your intent, your attitude, your respect for the other person. If your tone is off, even the most perfectly phrased repair request can fall flat, or worse, cause offense.
So it's a whole other layer of communication.
It's a crucial layer.
Yeah.
And it truly separates good speakers from great ones, I believe.
So what does this all mean for you, the listener, in practice? How do you actually cultivate that right tone?
It means practicing with intent, focusing not just on the words, but on the music of your voice.
The music, okay. Tip number 1.
First, when you make a request, try to cultivate a slight rising pitch at the end.
Rising pitch, like asking a question.
Exactly. For example, could you repeat that, please?
Yeah.
With that subtle upward inflection signals a genuine question, an invitation for clarity. It doesn't sound like a flat, demanding statement.
Ah, okay. Question, not demand.
It's a subtle but incredibly powerful cue for your listener. It indicates you're seeking help, not making an accusation.
Got it. What's next?
Second, slow down, especially right after you use those softeners like sorry or excuse me or just to check.
Why slow down then?
That brief pause, that slightly slower pace, gives your listener a crucial moment to process the softener. to register your politeness and then clearly hear your actual request.
Ah, rushing it makes the softener sound fake.
Exactly. It can sound like an afterthought or just rushed and insincere. Slowing down gives it weight.
Okay, rising pitch, slow down. What else?
Third, and this might sound a little strange, but try to literally smile in your voice.
Smile in your voice. How does that work on the phone?
Even on the phone, a physical smile actually changes the way your vocal cords vibrate. It subtly adjusts your vocal timbre.
Really?
Yes, it makes you sound instantly more approachable, kinder, and more cooperative. It's about radiating a certain warmth and a collaborative spirit through your voice, even when you're doing something potentially face-threatening, like asking for a repeat.
Okay, I'm going to try that. Smile when I ask for clarification.
Give it a go.
So I genuinely challenge you listening this week. Record yourself saying some of these phrases. Sorry, I didn't catch that. Could you repeat that, please? Listen back. How does your sorry sound? Is it a genuine, gentle apology? Or does it sound rushed, like a perfunctory formality?
That self-listening is so valuable.
It really is. That slight upward inflection at the end of a question truly makes a world of difference in how you are perceived and how effectively your repair actually lands. It's a small change, but incredibly powerful for sounding like a confident native English speaker.
And building on that, a key insight here is understanding the, let's say, the gradient of directness you can use when checking understanding.
Gradient of directness, okay.
Yeah, it ranges from a really quick, almost informal signal to those highly specific precision checks we talked about. The art is to match your request to the level of detail needed and the specific context of the conversation.
So different tools for different jobs.
Exactly. For those very quick, informal moments, maybe you just missed a single word in a casual chat. Simple signals can work fine, like sorry, with a rising tone. Or maybe slightly more complete, I didn't catch that. Or even a brisk, one more time, if the setting allows. These are for when the stakes are low and speed is important.
Okay, quick and easy ones.
But when you need to be more polite, or the situation's more formal, like a business call, you'll want to escalate that a bit.
To more formal phrases.
Yeah, phrases such as, could you say that again, please? Or would you mind speaking a bit more slowly? I want to make sure I get this right. These add that necessary layer of courtesy and professionalism.
Right, softening it a bit more.
And then we have the big guns, the precision checks. These are absolutely vital for numbers, names, technical acronyms, anything where exactness is paramount.
Okay, give me examples of precision checks.
This is where you might say, just to confirm, is that 1515 or 5050? Zero ambiguity.
Spelling it out.
Or do you mean the core router, as in CORE, or the access switch? In a technical context, maybe talking about VLANs, those virtual local area networks.
Yeah, network stuff.
You might ask, could you confirm the VLAN ID for that connection? Was that 201? Or if someone mentions data rates, clarifying, sorry, do you mean megabits per second? Or MB keys, megabytes per second? That distinction can be huge.
Absolutely. 8 times the difference.
Exactly. These highly specific questions leave zero room for ambiguity, ensuring absolute clarity.
And then you close the loop.
Always. Remember to follow through to close the loop with a simple, thanks, please go ahead, or great, noted, just to signal that the repair is complete and you're ready to move on.
Okay, that makes sense. Match the tool to the situation, from quick signals to precise checks. Now, this next mini kit, asking someone to repeat, this is where cultural nuances can really sneak in, can't they? And it's a common pitfall, sounding rude when you just need clarity.
It really is. But there's a good rule of thumb, I think, for asking someone to repeat without causing offense.
What's that?
Err on the side of polite professionalism, especially if you're unsure. It's all about finding that balance.
Okay, so polite professionalism, what does that sound like?
For most neutral or professional settings, a phrase like, I'm sorry I didn't catch that, could you repeat it please, is pretty much perfect.
Simple, polite, clear.
Exactly. It's concise, polite, and clearly states your need. Now, if the line quality is poor, or maybe there's background noise.
Like construction outside your window.
Right. You can even add a reason that removes any potential blame from the speaker. Something like, apologies. The line is a bit noisy today. Would you mind saying that once more?
Blaming the line, not the speaker. Clever.
It frames the issue as an external problem, not a deficiency in their speaking or your listening. It's a nice touch.
Okay. And in more informal settings?
In more friendly or informal settings, a simple, sorry, what was that? Or maybe, could you say that again? Is generally fine. But always, always delivered with a friendly tone.
Tone it.
Always tone. But the crucial thing here, maybe the most important takeaway, is what to absolutely avoid.
Okay, what should we avoid?
Phrases like, huh, what? Or the very American say what?
Right. Those sound abrupt.
They're almost universally considered abrupt, rude, or dismissive in professional contexts, and often even in many informal ones, too.
Yeah, nobody wants to sound like they weren't paying attention or being aggressive.
Exactly. So, remember, one polite apology or softener is usually sufficient. Then, be specific and clear with your request. Keep it simple, keep it polite. Building on that, mastering polite interruption kit number 3 is, I think, a truly powerful skill. It's a hallmark of assertive and effective communication.
Assertive but polite, that's the trick.
That's the trick. It allows you to assert your need for clarity or maybe offer a critical piece of information yourself without completely derailing the conversation or, crucially, causing offense.
So how do you do it without being rude? Because interruption often feels rude.
The key insight here is that interruption isn't inherently rude if it's done clearly for the purpose of clarity, and it uses a softener coupled with a clear, concise reason.
Okay, a formula.
Yeah, a simple, adaptable formula. Softener plus reason plus request.
Softener plus reason plus request. Okay, give me an example.
All right. Instead of just cutting in abruptly, you might use a softener, like, sorry to interrupt. Then add a reason. Could we just clarify the timeline quickly?
Yeah.
Then maybe the specific request. I'm seeing a different date in my notes.
Okay, softener, reason, request. Got it. Another one.
Sure. Excuse me, softener. Before we move on, reason. Can I just check one detail on that last point? Request.
Nice and smooth.
Or maybe in a financial discussion. Just a moment. Softener. There seems to be a conflict in the Q3 figures. Reason. May I ask about the revenue projection again? Request.
Okay, so these provide that polite pause to fix something important.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Before it becomes a bigger issue. It keeps the conversation accurate and productive.
And then what? After you've interrupted and clarified.
Equally important is gracefully giving the floor back. Simple phrases work best. Thanks, please continue. Or, that's all from me, go ahead.
Signaling you're done.
Yeah, it signals your interruption is complete, and the original speaker can resume their thought.
Okay, but what if someone interrupts you and you really need to finish your point? That can be frustrating.
It can be very frustrating. But it's a moment for graceful assertiveness, not aggression.
Graceful assertiveness.
Okay, you can gently reclaim the floor by saying something like, happy to answer that. Can I just finish this thought first?
Acknowledging them, but holding your ground.
Exactly. Or another good one is, great question. Give me literally 10 seconds to complete this point and I'll come right back to it.
Okay, acknowledging and promising to return.
Yeah. These responses acknowledge their input while respectfully ensuring your message is delivered completely before you shift focus. It's really about strategic pauses for better outcomes, making your interactions more efficient and respectfully managed.
Okay, mini kit 4. This one feels like it shifts the dynamic a bit. It's not just about receiving information, but actively shaping understanding, right? Rephrasing and paraphrasing.
Exactly. This kit is all about that two-way street of active engagement, making sure no one is just talking past each other.
So it's not just about them repeating, it's about us checking our understanding or helping them understand us.
Precisely. Let's break it down. First, there's rephrasing for the listener.
Okay, what's that?
This is when you essentially take an idea, maybe something they just said, or maybe something you just said that seemed to cause confusion, and you express it again in simpler, clearer, or just different words.
Why would you do that?
It's incredibly useful for reducing complexity. Imagine a colleague uses some technical jargon, like, we aim to normalize cross-domain telemetry ingestion.
Okay, sounds complex.
Right. A quick rephrase from you could be, so if I'm hearing correctly, we want to collect data from different systems and make sure it's all in the same standardized format. Is that right?
Ah, simplifying it and checking.
Exactly. It clarifies it for everyone, including yourself. Or, if you're presenting a complex idea, you can use structure to rephrase for clarity, like to recap the 3 key points we've covered. First, second, and finally. That helps the listener process and retain it.
Okay, so that's rephrasing to help others understand. What about the other side, paraphrasing?
Right. So a paraphrase check is when you confirm your understanding of their statement. It's about making sure your internal interpretation matches their intended meaning.
Checking your own understanding.
Yes. For instance, if a team member is explaining a change to, say, network security, you might interject with, okay, so let's see if I've got this right. You're saying the firewall policy was updated at midnight, And that's why we're seeing blocked connections from the external servers now, correct?
So you're repeating it back in your own words.
Exactly. It forces you to actively process their information and articulate it back. And crucially, it gives them a chance to confirm or correct your interpretation before you move forward based on faulty understanding.
Minimizing assumptions again.
Minimizing assumptions, building shared clarity. It's active listening made visible. And this brings us neatly to Minikit 5, which addresses the question you might have. Why is this confirmation close so incredibly crucial we keep mentioning it?
Yeah, why hammer it home?
Because it directly creates accountability and clarity on the next steps. It's that simple. Without a clear close, you might leave a conversation thinking one thing, while the other person assumes something else entirely. That leads to confusion, wasted effort, maybe missed deadlines down the line.
Right, the classic "I thought you were doing that" scenario.
Exactly that scenario. The confirmation close is the ultimate closed-loop signal. It's a concise statement that explicitly summarizes the agreed-upon outcome of the repair, preventing those future misunderstandings.
So after you've clarified and confirmed, you need that final sentence.
Yes, that tight close ensures nobody wonders, okay, so what happens next? Think of these kinds of phrases.
Okay.
For an action item, confirmed, patch deployment scheduled for 14.00 UTC, anticipating a 5-minute downtime. I'll monitor that. Say how specific that is.
Very specific, sets expectations.
Yeah. For a meeting summary or decision, great. I'll email the summary of decisions and the owner list to everyone by end of day. Clearly states your next action and responsibility. Or even just for general understanding after a clarification. All clear on my side now. Thank you for explaining that. Please continue with your presentation.
Neatly wrapping it up.
It just cements the understanding in any action items. It provides a definitive endpoint to the repair process. Honestly, this small step can save hours of rework and prevent significant communication breakdowns later. It's worth the extra 5 seconds.
Absolutely. Okay, those mini kits feel really practical. Checking, repeating, interrupting, rephrasing, paraphrasing, and the confirmation close. That's a solid toolkit. Now let's move into putting these into practice with some real-world scenarios. Because you know this feeling, right? Scenario A, on the phone with poor audio, that crackly line, maybe the speaker talks really fast, like they've had way too much coffee.
We've all been there.
And you're just trying desperately to keep up while maybe nodding and pretending you totally understand.
The nod and hope strategy.
The nod and hope. This is a classic challenge. The problem is clear. You can't hear well, speaker's too fast. Your lifeline here is a well-structured repair using that ACCC framework we talked about.
Okay, walk us through it for this scenario.
Right. So first, acknowledge the problem and make a request. Sorry, the line's a bit choppy today. Could you possibly speak a little more slowly, please?
Okay, acknowledging the line, requesting slower speed, kind and clear.
Exactly. Then you need to clarify specifically what you missed. My apologies, I just missed that last bit. Could you repeat the action item you mentioned right after update the config?
Nice. Not asking for everything again, just the specific missed part shows you were listening.
Right. Next, confirmation. Okay, so just want to confirm the action items. My task is to update the configuration and send the test logs by 3 p.m. Is that right?
Perfect. Double-checking the task and the deadline. Closed-loop thinking.
And finally, continue. Perfect. Got it now. Thanks so much. Please continue. Keeps the flow professional. Signals you're ready. A couple of pro tips for this one. If the platform has it, turn on live captions. They can be a real lifesaver sometimes.
Oh, yeah. Captions are great.
And also, maybe preemptively tell the other person why you might need repeats. Just a heads up, the connection seems a bit noisy today, so I might need to ask you to repeat once or twice. Hope that's okay.
Setting expectations. That's smart. Makes your requests less disruptive later.
Exactly. It's about being proactive and transparent.
Now, scenario B is fascinating because it highlights the power of neutral language. You're in a meeting, maybe looking at slides, and you spot a data conflict.
Okay, like the numbers don't match?
Exactly. The roadmap slide boldly states uptime 99.999%, 5 nines. But the operational report you just got emailed shows only 99.9%, 3 nines. That's actually a significant difference in reliability.
Yeah, huge difference. So what's the goal?
Your goal is to get clarity without accusing anyone of making a mistake, which can make people defensive.
Right. Avoid the blame game. How do you script that?
You start with a softener and a neutral framing. Excuse me, just a quick clarification needed on the uptime figure. Notice, clarification, not mistake or error.
Okay, neutral word choice.
Then you state the conflict objectively. The slide shows 5 nines. but the recent report indicates 3 nines. I just want to be sure which figure we should be using for our Q2 targets.
Direct, specific request, highlighting the discrepancy without pointing fingers.
Precisely. It opens the door for explanation. Maybe there's a good reason for the difference, or maybe it is just a typo that needs fixing.
And once they answer,
You immediately close the loop with confirmation. Thanks for clarifying. So the Q2 target is definitively 99.9%, not 99.999%. Got it. Noted.
making sure everyone's now aligned on the correct data.
Yes. This prevents future miscalculations or strategies based on wrong information. The key tip here, as you said, is using those neutral words. Clarification, detail, figure, discrepancy. Strictly avoid blame-laden words like mistake, wrong, or error.
Protects the speaker's face.
Keeps the meeting productive, focuses on accuracy, not defensiveness. It shows you're committed to precision and collaboration.
Excellent. Okay. Scenario C, technical support call with too many acronyms. Oh, this is a classic, especially in IT or engineering fields.
Right. Info overload central.
Your colleague is describing a network outage, maybe, but they're just rattling off acronyms BNG, CGNet, BGP, and they're flying right over your head.
Your script needs to be incredibly precise and methodical here.
Okay, how do you tackle that?
You start with that polite acknowledgement and an immediate, very specific clarification request. Sorry to jump in. Just want to confirm 2 terms you used to make sure we're aligned in this context. BNG and CGNet.
Naming the specific acronyms.
Yes. And maybe even adding context if you can. For those maybe less familiar, BNG is Broadband Network Gateway, managing user connections, and CGNet is carrier-grade NAT. So when you mention them, are we specifically talking about the BNG in our, say, Hargeisa data center and the CGNet set up on the 10.nuddle 1.016 subnet?
Wow, okay, that's super specific. It shows you're engaged in trying to place the terms.
Exactly. After that, you need to confirm other crucial details sequentially, especially if it's complex, like an outage timeline.
Break it down piece by piece.
Yes. Great. That clarifies the devices. Now, can we do a quick timeline check? I heard alerts started around 09.10. User reports then came in at 09.20, and then we saw a BGP flap that's border gateway protocol instability at 09.27. Is that sequence correct?
Confirming multiple details step by step helps you digest it.
Absolutely. And finally, you confirm your understanding of the situation and state your next action. This is key for efficient problem solving and technical support.
Okay, confirming and actioning.
Understood. Based on that sequence, my next step is clear. I'll reroute traffic to the backup BNG and aim to share a test call log with you in about 5 minutes.
Okay.
Does that sound like the right immediate action?
Asking for confirmation on your plan.
Yes. Then offer the floor back. Thanks. Please continue with any other updates you have.
Got it. And a tip for this one.
A really useful tip here, especially with numbers and acronyms, if there's any doubt. Spell them out. Sorry, was that 1515 or 5050? Or was that B as in Bravo for BGP?
Removing all ambiguity, surgical precision needed there.
It really is. It's about making absolutely sure everyone is on the same page when every second might count.
Yeah.
Now, this next scenario, scenario D, raises a really important practical question. When do you know it's time to just pivot?
Pivot? What do you mean?
We're talking about when you didn't understand twice, or maybe even 3 times. It happens to everyone, right?
Oh, yeah. You ask again and you still don't get it? It's
Yeah.
awkward.
It can be really awkward. You've
Yep.
politely asked once, maybe even twice, and you still haven't quite caught what they said. Perhaps the accent is unfamiliar, the audio quality is just consistently bad, or maybe the concept itself is genuinely complex for you.
So what's the solution? Just keep asking, can you repeat that? Forever.
No, definitely not. That becomes frustrating for both parties pretty quickly. The solution here is about owning the situation gracefully and intelligently changing the communication channel.
Ah, changing the channel, like from speaking to writing.
Exactly. This isn't a sign of failure. It's smart, adaptive problem solving. If auditory processing isn't working effectively in that moment, shift to a visual medium.
So instead of asking a third time,
Right. Instead of saying, sorry, could you repeat that for the 3rd time? You pivot with grace.
Huh?
Something like, apologies, I seem to be struggling to catch that crucial detail. Maybe it's the connection. Would you mind just writing it in the chat for me quickly?
Okay, blaming the connection again, asking for chat.
Or if it's a specific item like a part number or a complicated URL, you might say, to ensure I don't mishear that part number, would you mind maybe sharing it quickly by email right after our call?
Shifting to email for precision.
Yeah. This shows you're still committed to getting the information right, even if the current method of verbal communication isn't proving effective for that specific detail. It demonstrates flexibility, a focus on the outcome, and prevents those unproductive loops of repetition.
That's a really good escape hatch, actually. Smart problem solving, not failure. Okay, and the last scenario in this section, scenario E. This one can feel tough because, again, you don't want to be rude, but you absolutely need to complete your thought sometimes. We're talking about when someone interrupts you and you need to finish.
Yes, managing interruptions directed at you.
These phrases you suggested earlier, they empower you to maintain your narrative flow while still acknowledging the other person's input, right? It's about that graceful assertiveness again.
That's the perfect term for it. Graceful assertiveness. It's incredibly valuable in dynamic conversations.
So, refresh my memory. What were those key phrases? Imagine I'm explaining a complex process, and a colleague jumps in with a question before I've reached the logical conclusion.
Okay, you could respond with something like, "That's a fantastic question, and I definitely want to answer it. May I just finish this current point first so it makes sense?"
Validating their question, showing respect, but gently prioritizing your current statement ensures the full thought gets delivered.
Exactly. Another excellent option, maybe if you need just a few more seconds, is, "That's a great question. Please hold that thought. Give me just 10 more seconds to complete this final step, and I promise I'll come right back to it."
Acknowledging, setting a time frame, promising to return, shows respect but maintains control.
Yeah, it ensures your message is delivered completely before you shift focus. This often prevents misunderstandings that could arise if your explanation was cut short halfway through. It's a way to gently take control without completely shutting them down or sounding dismissive.
Graceful assertiveness, I like it. Those scenarios really bring the ACCC framework and the mini kits to life.
Hopefully. And diving a bit deeper now into Section 6, these phrases we're discussing, they aren't just polite requests. They're like specialized tools in your linguistic toolbox.
Specialized tools?
Yeah, designed for very specific conversational adjustments. They allow you to proactively steer the conversation rather than just react to it when something goes wrong. They transform you from being just a passenger in the conversation to be more like the pilot.
Okay, proactive repair strategies, like what?
Well, for instance, if you feel the conversation is moving way too quickly for everyone to keep up, you need tools to slow the conversation down.
How do you do that politely?
You might suggest, "Can we maybe take this step by step for a second? I want to make sure I'm following every detail accurately," or "Let's just pause on that last point for a moment. I need to make a quick note to capture that properly." See? It manages the pace.
Yeah, gives everyone a breather. Okay, what else?
What if the discussion starts to stray off topic, which happens all the time in meetings? You need tools to focus the conversation back to the agenda.
Gently bringing it back on track.
Gently, yes. You can interject with something like, "Let's gently park the pricing discussion for now, just conscious of time, and stay with the timeline discussion as planned." Or, "One quick question specifically on that slide before we move to the next topic." These phrases strategically bring the conversation back.
Okay, slowing down, focusing. What about for specific types of information?
Absolutely critical is having tools to verify numbers, metrics, or codes. Often crucial in technical or financial discussions, where precision is everything.
How do you phrase those checks?
Again, specificity is paramount. Sorry, just to double check.
Well,
Is that 16 as in 16 or 60 as in 60? Or if discussing network speeds, just confirming, are we talking about Mbps, megabits per second, or Mbps, megabytes per second? There's obviously a big difference.
these prevent costly errors.
Essential checks.
Yeah.
And for decisions.
Yes. Tools to land a decision decisively in a meeting, ensuring everyone is genuinely on board and crystal clear about the outcome.
How would you phrase that?
You might use something like, okay, so to confirm, our decision is to proceed with option X. Just checking, is anyone not comfortable with that, or are we all aligned?
Asking for buy-in or objections.
Exactly. Or, before wrapping up, let's just quickly confirm the owners and the deadlines for these action items we've agreed on. These aren't just reactive repairs. They're proactive strategies to shape the conversation for maximum clarity, efficiency, and collective understanding. Steering the conversation. Okay, that's a really useful way to think about it, proactive tools. But let's talk about the finesse involved in actually executing these repairs, especially that balance you mentioned between being polite and being clear. How do you find that sweet spot of softening and strength?
Ah, the sweet spot. It's a real challenge, isn't it?
Yeah, because if you're too soft, you might sound uncertain, maybe hesitant, or you could even diminish your own credibility, right?
Totally. Like you're apologizing for needing clarity.
But if you're too strong, too direct, you risk sounding rude, maybe aggressive, or demanding, which can just shut down communication entirely.
Exactly. Finding that balance is key. And the elegant solution, I think, is usually to combine one concise softener with a clear, strong core request.
One softener, one strong request, not too much of either.
Precisely. You don't need to drown your request in multiple apologies or excessive caveats. Oh, I'm so sorry to bother you, but if it's not too much trouble.
Right, that weakens it.
But you also shouldn't just bark out an order. Repeat that figure.
Definitely not.
So think about common softeners. Sorry, excuse me. Just a quick could or would you mind. Those are your gentle openers.
Okay, standard softeners.
Then you pair just one of those with a strong, unambiguous core request. Repeat the last figure. Speak a bit more slowly. Confirm the definition of complete or clarify the objective of that task.
Okay, can you give me a balanced example combining them?
Sure. Instead of being overly apologetic like, oh, sorry, I'm really bad at this sometimes, but I think I didn't quite understand. Could you maybe possibly try saying it again if that's okay with you?
Chuckles, yeah, that's way too much.
Way too much. Instead, aim for something like, excuse me, that's off there. Quick check on the definition of complete so we don't talk past each other. Strong core request with a brief reason.
Polite, direct, gives a reason.
Yeah.
Efficient.
Both kind and incredibly efficient. Find that sweet spot. It's a real hallmark of confident, native-like communication. Precision in politeness.
Now, this next point raises an important question, especially in today's globalized world. How do you navigate repair etiquette across different cultures?
Ah, yes, the cultural dimension.
Yeah.
Because politeness isn't the same everywhere.
Exactly. While a brief apology or softener before interrupting is generally expected and usually safe in many Western business settings, it's absolutely true that communication styles vary greatly across the globe.
How so?
Well, some cultures, often described as high-context cultures, might expect more indirect language and perhaps a greater use of softeners to maintain harmony and avoid direct confrontation. Showing deference might be more important.
Okay, more indirectness.
Whereas other cultures, often low-context ones, might value directness, efficiency, and getting straight to the point. Too much softening might seem evasive or insincere there.
So what do you do when you're unsure or in a mixed culture meeting? When unsure or operating in an international multicultural context, your safest harbor is generally to aim for that neutral polite approach we discussed.
Neutral polite, remind me.
Keep your requests short, clear, friendly in tone, and strictly purpose-focused. It respects potential cultural differences by being generally polite, but ensures your core message for clarity is still delivered effectively.
So, clear, concise, friendly, task-focused.
That's your safe zone. It's about being understood without inadvertently causing offense due to cultural missteps.
Okay. And are there other cues besides words?
Oh, absolutely. Beyond the spoken words, it's crucial, especially in group settings or video calls, to pay close attention to nonverbal and contextual turn-taking signals.
Turn-taking signals, like what?
Look for subtle pauses in someone's speech. A slight inhale just before they might speak again. Direct eye contact being offered to you, maybe indicating it's your turn, or perhaps a nod from the meeting chair or facilitator.
Reading the room or the screen.
Exactly. These cues often indicate that the floor is open for you to speak or interject politely. Catching these makes your repair feel much more natural and less disruptive within the cultural flow of that specific conversation.
So paying attention to those subtle signals is key for smooth repairs in any context, really.
Valuable.
Okay, these next tips feel like pro tips because they're about things that help prevent the need for repair in the first place, right? Or if you do need to repair, they make it much, much easier. They're about being a better speaker and a more effective listener before a problem even arises.
Exactly. Prevention is better than cure, even in conversation.
So first step, chunking. What's that?
As a speaker, chunking means consciously breaking your speech into smaller, more digestible units. Instead of delivering a long, flowing monologue that might overwhelm the listener.
Right, which is easy to tune out of.
Very easy. Instead, say something like, I have 2 quick updates for you today. First, then pause. Second, or let's discuss this issue in 3 parts. First, the problem. Second, our proposed solution. And third, the timeline.
Breaking it down helps the listener process.
Precisely. It reduces their cognitive load and makes it much less likely they'll miss a key detail buried in a long sentence.
Okay, chunking. Makes sense. Next.
Signposting. This is about guiding your listener through your ideas with clear transitional phrases, like verbal road signs.
Verbal road signs. Okay. Examples like, okay, going back to the root cause of the outage we discussed earlier, or now shifting gears slightly to talk about our next agenda item. or simply moving on to the budget.
Ah, so you're explicitly telling them where you're going in the conversation.
Yes. It helps your listener follow the narrative easily and understand where you are, especially during transitions between topics or ideas. It prevents that, wait, what are we talking about now? Confusion.
Very useful. Okay, chunking signposting. What's RASA? R-A-S-A.
Our RASA. This is a fantastic active listening framework. It makes you a better listener, which naturally reduces the need for repair later. It stands for receive, appreciate, summarize, ask.
Okay, break that down. Receive. Receive. Fully focus on what the other person is saying. Put away distractions. Really pay attention. Show your listening with nonverbal cues like nods or brief verbal affirmations like uh-huh or okay or I see. Back channeling.
Summarize.
Summarize. Briefly rephrase or paraphrase what you understood them to say. So if I understand correctly, you're suggesting we prioritize the Q3 roadmap features. Is that right? This is that confirmation step again.
And ask.
Ask. Follow up with a clarifying question if needed, based on your summary or if something is still unclear. This structured approach ensures you've genuinely absorbed and processed the information correctly.
Receive, appreciate, summarize, ask. That's powerful. And the last listening tool.
No shorthand. This is super practical. Develop a quick system for writing down key details during a fast-paced conversation.
Like abbreviations.
Yeah. Use shorthand for times, CAG 9.1 in Yarrow, names, HE specific numbers, and key actions, HE test logs.
Why is that helpful?
Because it makes your closed-loop confirmations lightning fast and accurate. You can quickly refer to your notes. So just confirming, Amina sends the test logs by 9.10. It prevents errors based on memory alone.
Brilliant. So these tools, chunking, signposting, RSA, note shorthand, they're about being a considerate speaker and a sharper, more prepared listener.
Exactly. Ultimately helping you chat like a native without needing quite so many explicit repairs in the first place. And what's fascinating here, moving into Section 7, is that recovering gracefully after you misspeak is actually another crucial form of conversation repair. But this time, it's about repairing your own communication.
Repairing yourself, not just understanding others.
Precisely. And far from diminishing your credibility, owning your own mistakes immediately often enhances it. It demonstrates self-awareness, confidence, and meticulous attention to detail. It shows you're precise and trustworthy.
So don't just brush it under the carpet if you say the wrong thing.
Definitely not. If you catch yourself making a mistake, saying the wrong date, using the wrong term, don't ignore it or just stumble through awkwardly. Instead,
What?
first, own it immediately and clearly. Oh, let me just correct that I meant Q3 results, not Q2 results for that metric. Taking responsibility quickly prevents lingering confusion.
Okay, quick correction.
Second, if you use slightly imprecise language, maybe reframe for clarity by choosing a more accurate term. Actually, better wording for that situation would be to deprioritize that feature for now, not cancel it completely. This refines your message, ensures your intent is crystal clear.
Choosing the exact right word.
Yes. And third, once you've made the correction, bridge back smoothly to the main point. Okay, apologies for that slip. Now that we've clarified the timeline back to the deployment plan we were discussing, this ensures the conversation flow isn't completely derailed.
Own it, reframe it, bridge back. Nice.
Yeah. This process isn't about avoiding mistakes, they happen. It's about demonstrating that you're engaged, thoughtful, and committed to accuracy, which are all hallmarks of highly professional and effective communication. It shows a level of self-awareness and precision that actually commands respect.
That's brilliant because it puts the onus back on the speaker sometimes, not just the listener, which leads perfectly to what do you do when someone else misunderstands you? It might actually be your delivery, not their listening skills, right?
Absolutely. Sometimes the breakdown originates with us, the speaker. These strategies help you take responsibility and adjust your communication to meet your listener where they are, ensuring your message lands clearly the second time around.
Okay, so what can you do?
Well, first, you can try to preempt potential misunderstanding. If you've just delivered a particularly complex piece of information, or maybe you see a slightly confused look on their face.
Reading their reaction.
Yes, you might proactively say, I realize that was a bit dense. I'll just say that key part again, perhaps a little more slowly, as it's a crucial detail. This shows empathy and gives the listener a second chance without them even having to ask for it.
That's very considerate. Okay, what else?
Second, if you notice that confused look or maybe a hesitant, repackage your message. Don't just repeat the exact same words louder.
Right, find another way to say it.
Exactly. Use a simpler phrase, maybe try a different analogy, or offer a short, relatable example. If your first explanation didn't click, find another pathway to understanding. For instance, if you were explaining a technical concept like cloud elasticity, and they looked blank,
Which can happen.
you could try, okay, maybe think of it like a rubber band. The system automatically stretches when demand is high and shrinks back down when demand is low, rather than being a fixed size.
Using an analogy. Nice.
And finally, check back directly. After you've re-explained something, don't just assume it was understood this time. Explicitly ask for confirmation.
How?
Does that explanation make more sense?
Mm-hmm.
Or does that match your understanding of the process now? Or are we aligned on that next step after that clarification?
Directly asking for confirmation of their understanding.
Yes. It places the responsibility back on you, the speaker, to ensure clarity and shared understanding has truly been achieved. It's a very proactive and highly effective communication style, being a considerate communicator. Okay, moving into section 8. Let's talk about some common mistakes people make when trying to repair conversations, and crucially, the easy fixes. Because connecting this to the bigger picture, recognizing and avoiding these common mistakes, is really about boosting your communication efficiency and showing respect for your listeners' time and understanding.
Right. Small mistakes can have big impacts.
They really can. They might seem like small things, but avoiding them makes your communication smoother, faster, and much more professional. They're often easy fixes with significant payoffs.
Okay. Mistake number 1.
The first major mistake, and probably the most common, is waiting too long to repair.
Letting it slide.
Letting it slide, exactly. Falling into that trap of letting a small misunderstanding, maybe a misnumber, an unclear instruction, grow into a much larger, more complex problem later on. Imagine approving a budget line item that you only thought you understood.
Oh, dear.
Only to realize later you've committed to double the amount you thought.
Big headache.
So the fix?
The fix is simple.
Jump in sooner. As soon as you feel that first flicker of doubt or confusion, jump in politely with a softener. Sorry to interrupt, but I just want to clarify that figure. It saves everyone time and potential embarrassment later.
React fast. Got it. What's another common mistake?
Vague requests. We touched on this, but it bears repeating. Simply asking what, or can you say that again, without any context is really unhelpful.
That's all the work back on the speaker.
Entirely. They don't know what part you missed or didn't understand. The fix. Be precise. Target the exact part you didn't catch.
Examples again.
Could you repeat the last number you mentioned? Sorry, I missed the deadline. Could you say it once more? Or could you just clarify the file path for that document you referenced?
This specificity guides the speaker directly to the information you need. Much more efficient.
Precision beats vagueness. Okay. And a third big mistake.
A huge, but often overlooked mistake is having no close after a repair.
Leaving it hanging. Leaving the conversation hanging, unclear about who does what next, or even if understanding was truly achieved. This invites future problems and wasted effort. You might clarify a decision brilliantly, but if no one explicitly says, okay, so I'll send that confirmation email by noon, then...
Both people might assume the other is doing it, or either does it.
Exactly. The fix. Always confirm what happens next with a clear confirmation close, even if it's just, okay, got it, thanks. It ensures accountability and prevents those future misunderstandings, leads to far more productive outcomes. These small adjustments make a huge difference.
Absolutely. And on my side, thinking about common mistakes, another one that I see intermediate learners fall into quite often is over-apologizing.
Ah, yes, the excessive sorries.
Right. While politeness is absolutely essential, sounding too uncertain or diminishing your own credibility with just too many sorries can actually be counterproductive.
How so?
It can suggest you're perhaps less confident than you are, or maybe less sure of your right to even ask for clarity. It can weaken your position unintentionally.
Good point.
The fix, like you said with softening, one concise apology is usually enough. Then be specific and clear with your request. Sorry, could you repeat that number? Is much stronger and more professional than that long, rambling apology we joked about earlier.
Confidence and clarity.
Exactly. Another mistake I notice sometimes is stacked questions.
Stacked questions. You mean asking too many at once?
Yes. Especially right after a repair, maybe you have several points of confusion. Asking multiple questions all at once can totally overwhelm the listener.
Yeah, where do they even start answering?
Right. They might not know which question to answer first, or they might forget some of your later questions while they're answering the first one. For example, firing off. So, when does that new project start, and who's responsible for the budget, and what's the first deadline? It's just too much information to process and track.
Creates more confusion, potentially.
Exactly. The fix is really simple here. Ask one question at a time, Wait for the answer, confirm you understand it if necessary, and then ask your next question.
Sequential clarity.
It ensures clear, sequential understanding without creating new confusion or making the other person feel like they're being interrogated. It's just about creating a clear, digestible information exchange, one thing at a time. Okay, section 9. Here's where it gets really interesting and practical for everyone listening. We've given you the tools, we've walked through the concepts, the frameworks, the crucial whys. Now it's time to actually put them into action. This 7-day micro-practice plan is designed to build these repair skills into muscle memory.
Making it automatic.
Exactly. Through bite-sized, achievable steps you can genuinely integrate into your week. This isn't about grand, scary gestures. It's about consistent, small improvements that add up.
Okay, let's hear the plan. Day 1.
Day 1, focus on signals. Your goal today is just to master the sound of a polite repair request. Get your phone out, record yourself saying simple things like, sorry, with rising intonation. One moment. Could you repeat that, please? Pay meticulous attention to getting that friendly, upward inflection at the end. Practice until it feels and sounds natural, like you're genuinely asking for help, not making a demand.
Focusing on the tone first. Smart. Day 2.
Day 2, practice precision. Today, focus on accuracy, especially with numbers and codes. Practice number checks aloud. Is that 15 or 50? Challenge yourself to spell out codes or names clearly using the phonetic alphabet if needed. Was that A as in alpha, M as in Mike, I as in India? Do this in your head during real conversations too, even if you don't say it aloud, just to train your ear for that level of detail.
Building the precision muscle. Okay, day 3.
Day 3, interrupt politely. Time to practice that softener plus reason plus request formula. Write down maybe 3 variations that are specific to your typical work or study context. For instance, excuse me, before we move on, can I just clarify one detail about the budget numbers? Practice saying them out loud, fast but calmly, without hesitation. The goal is to make these feel natural and unforced when you need them.
Rehearsing the interruption formula. Good. Day 4.
Day 4, paraphrase power. This is great for active listening. Grab a 60-second audio clip from any English podcast, news report, anything. Listen intently, then pause it. Now, summarize what the speaker argued in just one concise sentence, starting with the phrase. So the speaker seems to be arguing that. This trains your brain to quickly process and rephrase information, which is vital for both understanding others and clarifying your own points later.
Processing and summarizing. Excellent skill. Day 5.
Day 5, simulate a phone drill. Time for a challenge. Simulate a difficult phone call. Ask a friend or colleague to speak quickly, maybe mumble a bit, or have some background noise on their end. Your task is to practice asking for repetition politely twice, and then, crucially, practice switching channels if you still don't get it. Apologies, I'm still struggling to catch that last part clearly. Please, would you mind just dropping it in the chat for me? This builds your adaptability under pressure.
Practicing the pivot. Very useful. Day 6.
Day 6, master confirmation closes. This is all about habit formation. After every significant conversation you have today, whether it's formal or informal in English or even your native language, consciously practice adding a short, clear close. Okay, so the plan is I'll send the draft by noon, or great, all clear on my side now, thanks. This helps ingrain that closed-loop principle into your daily communication rhythm.
Making the close automatic. Love it. And day 7.
Day 7, the live test. Okay, it's game time. In your very next English meeting or significant conversation this week, commit to consciously using at least one repair move. Just one. It could be clarifying a number, politely interrupting with a question, paraphrasing someone's point, or using a clear confirmation close. Afterward, take just 2 minutes to reflect. What worked well? What felt a little awkward? What would you do differently next time? This real-world application is where the true learning really happens. You absolutely can do this.
That's a fantastic practical plan. Breaking it down makes it feel very manageable. And this raises the important question, how do you actually know if you're improving? How do you track your progress? This self-checklist is designed to be your personal feedback mechanism, a clear rubric for assessing how you're doing with these repair skills.
Okay, a way to measure progress.
Exactly. Be honest with yourself as you review these points regularly. The ultimate goal, remember, is for these skills to become automatic, intuitive parts of your communication style, so seamless that you don't even have to consciously think about them anymore.
So what's on the checklist?
Ask yourself these questions periodically, maybe once a week. Do I consistently use a softener before interrupting or asking for clarification? Yes, sometimes no. Are my requests usually specific and short, or do I tend to be vague? Do I make a point to actively confirm important numbers, names, and times? Do I usually end my repair interactions with a clear close, leaving no ambiguity? Does my tone generally stay friendly and collaborative, even when I'm feeling a bit under pressure? Am I able to confidently switch communication channels, like asking for chat or email, when auditory clarification isn't working effectively?
Okay, that's a great set of benchmarks.
Regularly assessing yourself against these points will give you a clear picture of where you're already strong and where you might need a little more targeted practice from the microplan. It's all about building that self-awareness and then celebrating those small, consistent improvements that lead to significant overall growth in your communication confidence.
Excellent. And as a final takeaway, something maybe people can screenshot or jot down, your ultimate distillation of today's deep dive. Let's call it the 1-minute repair kit. Use this until it's absolutely automatic. It's basically the ACCC framework, stripped down to its essential phrases.
The cheat sheet.
The cheat sheet. Acknowledge, start with, sorry to jump in, or excuse me, clarify. Then ask specifically, could you repeat the last figure, please? Or, I missed the deadline, could you say that again? Confirm. Follow up with. So just checking, delivery by Wednesday, 10 a.m., right? Or, okay, my understanding is we're prioritizing phase 1, is that correct? Continue close. And finish with, great, please go on. Or, understood? I'll action that now.
Yeah.
Pin that near your screen, use it, internalize it, make it your go-to whenever clarity is needed until you don't need the pin anymore.
Perfect summary. So, you see, as we wrap up, conversation repair really isn't about striving for some kind of impossible perfection in your English. None of us are perfect communicators all the time. It's about being profoundly prepared. It's about having the confidence and, crucially, the specific tools to navigate the real-world complexities and the dynamic nature of language. It's about ensuring that your message and your understanding of others' messages are always as crystal clear as possible. These kits, these strategies we've discussed today, they really are your secret weapon for sounding not just fluent, but truly effective, professional, and composed. They allow you to chat like a native, even, or perhaps especially, when things get tricky and unpredictable in a conversation.
Exactly. And maybe for your final thought today, everyone, consider this. If misunderstandings are simply those inevitable forks in the road of communication, as you put it, then your fully stocked conversation repair kit is the ultimate GPS navigation system. It doesn't just tell you there's been a detour. It shows you exactly how to navigate around it quickly, clearly, kindly, and without losing your way or getting flustered.
I like that analogy, the GPS.
So how might your professional interactions, maybe your relationships with colleagues, and even your own deep sense of confidence transform if you started every single English conversation knowing you possess the power to fix any linguistic detour gracefully and effectively?
That's a powerful question to ponder.
It is. We challenge you. Pick just one technique from today's deep dive. Maybe it's using a specific confirmation close, or trying that polite interruption formula, or focusing on your tone when you ask for repetition, and deliberately try it in your very next English conversation. Just one thing.
See what happens.
See what happens. You might be genuinely surprised at the profound difference it makes, not just in the clarity of a conversation, but in how much more confident and capable you feel. Thank you so much for joining us on Chat Like a Native for this essential deep dive into conversational repair.
It's been a pleasure.
We really hope you feel more equipped, more empowered, and definitely more confident to tackle any communication challenge that comes your way. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep chatting like a native.